Caroline, can you tell the audience about one profound moment or experience you have had in this last year in the immigration system, whether in or out of immigration court?
Oh, this is a good one, and it's beautiful, because it speaks to faith and it speaks to resiliency. I actually had a client who came to the United States for the first time in 1999. At the time when she was entering the United States, she was actually fleeing gang violence in Jamaica. Her The father of her child was murdered, executed. She also had a cousin that was murdered, because of gang violence in the community, because having to do with reprisal killing. She was fleeing. She was essentially fleeing for her life, and would have been a good client then for, or a good applicant, I should say, for seeking asylum here in the United States. However, she did not go about it the proper way. She went to, well, in fact, she got documents that were fraudulent, because of the fact that she was so desperate to enter the United States. And upon coming at the port of entry in Newark, she was detained, interrogated, and it was discovered that her documents was fraudulent. Now, had she been aware of it, she could pursue an asylum application. I believe that she would have done that. However, she was young at the time that she was attempting to enter the United States, and the investigation, revealed that yes, she was in fact using fraudulent documents, and they ordered her removed at the airport via the process of expedited removal. Now, in expedited removal, like I might have said before, you don't have the right to an attorney, right? And Immigration and Customs Enforcement is actually doing, in this kind of proceeding, Immigration and Customs Enforcement has dual function. They're both the adjudicator of the case, and they're also the prosecutor in the case. So it's very, very hard for an individual to make a viable claim or put up a viable defense in these types of proceedings, and especially seeing as how you don't have the right, to be represented by an attorney. So this person that I'm telling you about, my client, she was ordered removed from the United States in 1999. Both less than a year, by 2000, January 2000, she was back here in the United States. After again going, this time she went to the embassy, but she gave them fraudulent name, and she obtained a visa to enter the United States. Upon coming to the port of entry here in New York, it was not discovered that there was a prior removal order that was issued less than a year against her. And the second time of, her attempted entry into the United States, she was granted. She was inspected, in spite of the fact that it was in somebody else's name. She was inspected, and she was authorized to enter the United States. Now, consider the fact that she was living here. She has been living here from the year 2000, and we now fast forward to the year 2012. Within that time period, she had built a life here in the United States. She worked, she paid taxes, had a stable job, was going to school. She had a family with U.S. citizen kids and lawful permanent resident children. She had a U.S. citizen spouse. Now, in 2012, her U.S. citizen husband submitted an alien relative petition for her to obtain lawful permanent resident status. Now, once she went to this interview, USCIS turned her over essential to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, because now they recognize that she was ordered removed in 1999. And at that point in time, She had gotten another attorney that helped her part way in terms of the process, struggling to find some kind of relief for her, because of course now she was placed in removal proceedings before an immigration judge. So between 2012 and 2015, she had this attorney. The attorney could not, in her estimation, figure out a way to help her, because by now she could no longer make a viable claim for asylum, because asylum applicants typically have to submit their application within a year of entering the United States. And of course, she had this pre-existing removal order, and then she re-entered the United States in spite of that removal order. So that attorney could not figure out a way to resolve her situation. She came to me, and initially, I must admit, like, I could not find a way out. This was like a puzzle to me, how to help her to transition to become a lawful permanent resident of this country. And for months and years, and I cannot attribute it to anything outside of faith and prayer. I mean, a lot of people may not be comfortable with that, but I'm a person of faith. And aside from the fact that I worked hard at this, I believe that God really directed me to the material, the law itself, as to how to really help her resolve this case. And I came across, with the assistance of a mentor of mine, came across this law that was there, and that was, again, I make reference to the American Immigration Lawyers Association. Being a member of that association helped me to obtain the modern, not I shouldn't say modern, but recent information coming out of the Board of Immigration Appeals to show that, in spite of the fact that she was ordered removed in 1999 and subsequently re-entered, that she could still obtain relief before the court, that she could submit a viable application for waivers to cover the fact that she entered fraudulently, that she could still transition to become a lawful permanent resident. And here the law was instrumental in terms of, and knowing the law was instrumental and working hard to present a strong argument before the court. But what was also very, very rewarding about this process was to see that someone, yes, who had made mistakes prior, someone, however, this individual, this client of mine, had drastically transformed her life. She had worked tremendously hard in this country, because she was a homeowner at this point. She had children that she had raised. She also had a child that she had essentially adopted, that she was guardian to, and she was really helping the mother, the biological mother who had died. So this was a wonderful person who was very, very deserving of, transitioning, and who really, really loved this country, and who could not return home because of the circumstances under which she had left. And like I mentioned before, faith, prayer, hard work, and the determination to actually see this process through, we were able to, by God's grace, help her to obtain lawful permanent residency in the United States. So this is something that is particularly rewarding and passionate and uplifting for me, but not just for me, but for the client as well. Not just for the client, but every aspect of her life that she touched. So her kids were better because of the fact that she was now a permanent resident. She could have peace of mind. She could continue to raise her children in a safe and loving environment. She would continue to work and contribute to the development of not just her kids, but to herself and to this country. And that is tremendously rewarding. And I take great pride in that. And I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity to serve and to work with individuals like these. And I can't imagine doing anything that's more fulfilling.